What's going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to my shop, and I'm going to be building this. So what I have here are some plans I got from StewMac.com of an A-style mandolin. I'm not about to try the F-style mandolin with the scroll on the side. That may come later, but for the first one, I'm going to do a mandolin, okay? Just an A-style mandolin. I've never made a mandolin before. I've wanted to for a little while, but I'm actually going ahead with it and giving it a shot. I've already made 2 full acoustic guitars. I've got videos for those builds on my channel. I'll put links in the description. I'm currently in the middle of my 3rd guitar build, and I'm planning the 4th build already, okay? So this is going to be going on at the same time as I'm building guitars 3 and 4 on the side, doing a little bit here, a little bit there, okay? Let me show you where I'm at so far. So what I did was I took a piece of tracing paper and I laid it on top of this and I traced it just half. I only went to the halfway mark, and I drew that onto a piece of 1/2 inch MDF. You can see here, and this matches up to that drawing. I just kind of used my oscillating spindle sander to get down to my line. And if you look at the side here, just imagine that being the outside of the mandolin. What I need to do with this is use this to make an external mold for the mandolin. So the mandolin will sit down inside of the external mold. So this needs to be the exact dimension of the outside of the mandolin so that when I make the external mold, the inside of the external mold will match the outside dimensions of the mandolin. I'm even confused talking about this. I'm going to use this MDF to do that. Now, since I've never made a mandolin, I've of course never made a mandolin mold, okay? But I've made a couple of guitar molds, like this one. This is the second one that I made from scratch out of MDF. The first one I made was an orchestra model mold. This is a jumbo mold, and I've even got a set of sides in here. That's besides the point, because we're talking about building a mandolin, right? If I can figure out how to make a guitar mold, I should be able to figure out how to make a mandolin mold. And actually, the course that I'm taking to learn how to make a mandolin, which I didn't mention yet, it's a course on luthieryacademy.com. It's the same place I learned how to make a guitar. It's a really great course. The site's run by Robbie O'Brien. You may have already heard of him. He's been teaching how to build acoustic and classical guitars for over 20 years. So he has other people who specialize in other kinds of instruments come and teach courses for him on his website. So he's got a guy from III Mandolins, III Mandolin, I'm not really sure. He's got that guy in his shop going through a whole mandolin course. And this is actually going to be a carved mandolin. It's going to have a carved top and back, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just jump on into the deep end and learn how to carve. Just figured the quickest way to learn is to just do the hard stuff, okay? So I feel like I did that with my guitar build and my 2nd guitar build. So I'm going to do the same thing with the mandolin build. So let me show you some of the materials I have so far. I'm not going to be buying all the materials up front like I did for my guitar build. My first build, I had everything I needed in one box, and I had to spend a good amount of money to get it. So I'm only buying what I need when I need it. So what I've bought so far are these. These are the sides, okay? These are flame maple sides, and they're really beautiful. I'm already scared to crack them trying to bend them. I had to bend flame maple for the binding on my first guitar, and I had a hard time doing it, okay, by hand. So hopefully I don't screw something up. Luckily these, aren't extremely expensive, so if I mess up, it's not too much out of my pocket to get some more. But I hope that doesn't happen, okay? I've got these sides here, and I've also got this mahogany block of wood, and I bought this it's just a heel block. If you were making a guitar neck, it's a heel block for a guitar neck, but I can get the blocks for the mandolin out of this piece of wood. I've had this for almost 2 years just sitting in my shop, in my humidity controlled room. I've had this in my humidity controlled room as well. So I should be able to get the 2 blocks I need for the top and for the bottom out of this block to at least get the sides bent and then glued together with the blocks. That's my plan. That's what I want to do in this video. The only other things I've bought so far is the piece of MDF for the mold, and then this. It's right here. Let me take this out of the packaging. I got this from Lee Valley. I've got quite a few other tools from LeeValley.com, and they've got really great tools. They're the ones that sell the Veritas line of hand tools. This is not Veritas. It's Henry Taylor Tools, okay? It's a number 7 sweep bent gouge, okay? And I'm going to use this to carve the top and the back, I hope. First of all, I've got to learn how to sharpen it, that curved surface like that. This wasn't that expensive. You know, I didn't go all out and break the bank trying to get the best gouge I could. This is just something to learn with, and I'm really excited to learn how to use it. So in the course, the guy uses a number 7 sweep, and he also has a number 5 sweep. I just went with the number 7. I'm going to try it with this. I've got a set of flat scrapers, but I'll probably need to get some round scrapers, and I'll probably end up getting a little finger plane, like one of those little Ibex curved bottom finger planes. I'll need that to do the carving as well, but that'll come after I do the sides. So let's just focus on the sides for now. Okay, so I guess the first thing I need to do is cut out what I need out of this MDF to make the mold. So I've looked at a few pictures of mandolin molds online. It doesn't look like you need a whole lot of room around the mandolin, so just guesstimating, if I had a couple of inches from the sides and then from the top and bottom, I think that would be okay. So I've got my template laying there. So that's 2 inches from the top, 2 inches from the side. I'm going to go ahead and take that off right there. And this will be the width that I need to cut. 7 inches. Oh, it's like pretty much dead on 7 inches. I guess maybe what I should have done first is double stuck them together and then cut it out to the exact size. It's okay. I guess what I'll do is just get these double stuck together with tape and then just whisper cut this one edge to make it both edges perfect, so that once I lay this down on here, trace it out and cut it out on the bandsaw, I should be able to open this up like this and have the complete outline of the mandolin. That's my plan, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So this is the side that's going to be the middle that I need to whisper cut even, and then of course I'll cut out my shape here so that these two sides become the center line of the mandolin. I'm going to put the butt down here, heel here, just so I remember which way to set this thing. Let's go to the table saw one more time, and I'm going to cut this even. Straight off the table saw, perfectly smooth down this side. This here, 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, so let's go to the bandsaw and cut that out. Okay, that actually didn't take too long. It feels pretty smooth. So let me go ahead and see if I can get this apart. Nice. So anyway, that's the shape of the mandolin. I guess I can glue it together, I think. I may do some more research on that before I do that. So let me go over and do some research, and I'll be back on another day. And just a side note before I cut the video off, the reason I'm wondering if I need to glue this or not is I don't know if I need to be able to take the mold apart later, like you do a guitar mold. I think the one in the video series that I'm watching, I don't ever see him take his apart. It doesn't look like it could come apart either, so I may end up just gluing this to make a solid mold. I think I will do that. Now that I'm talking myself out of researching, I guess I'll go ahead and just glue this together. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it fits perfectly. Alright, let's let it dry and I'll come back to you whenever I'm ready to move on. I figured I would go ahead and update you. I realized that I needed to make spreaders, or I remembered that I needed to make spreaders to push the sides against the mold. So I took the cutout pieces that I cut out of the center of here and I taped them together. What I did first was kind of place this on top and drew the shape of the mold against it. And then I cut about 2 millimeters past that line all the way around. The reason for that is because the sides are 2 millimeters thick about that I'm going to be bending. So I need to make room for those to be there. So I've got this lined up and I've got, measuring about 2 millimeters all the way around. I ended up cutting this off and cutting this off just to make room for the blocks. And I just got to figure a way to spread them apart, probably using turnbuckles with a bolt in there or something. I'm going to Home Depot today, so I'll probably pick up a couple of small turnbuckles and maybe some bolts to do that with. But let me go ahead and get this apart if I can. There we go. And this is what I'm talking about with this is just a small turnbuckle that I have, one of my other molds. That might even still be too big, but of course I'll have to create room for this to spin, so that's why I would have to cut some out of the center to make room for that. But I'm going to go to Home Depot and see just if there's anything any smaller than that. I'm not sure. This may be the smallest ones they have, but I need to come up with a way to bolt into this, but that won't be too weak for this MDF. I don't want it to, get loose and break out of the MDF. So I need to think about that. So you can see what I came up with. This is the finished mold. That's just some wax that I have on it. I put a coat of wax across the whole thing and on the inside here and on the sides here, just in case any water gets on it or glue. It won't really cause too much of a problem. So you can see how I did the turnbuckles. I got the inside part cut out to make room for these to spin. And like I said, whenever I went to trim this down, I needed to plan for it to be 2 millimeters smaller than this surface. So you can imagine that if the mandolin was in here, this side right here in the mold will match up to the outside of the sides. And then I put this in here, and this will match up, this surface here, to the inside of the mandolin. So it's not the exact same, curve. This one's a little bit tighter of a curve. So if I try to put it in here without the mandolin, it doesn't completely fit in there perfectly, and it kind of wiggles a little bit. Like if I tighten them up, let me see if I can tighten them. See, it still wants to wiggle because I planned for them to be a little bit smaller because of the 2 millimeter sides, which is the thickness that I'll bend them at. So next thing I need to do is go ahead and get the block cut out. You can see here the head block and the tail block. And I was trying to figure out which way the grain needed to go. I know which way it needs to go from the course, but this is the block I got to get them out of. So one of the problems in my head, trying to figure out how to get the blocks out of this chunk of mahogany, I couldn't figure out, does this side go up or does this side go up? I know that this is ingrain and ingrain, and that the sides are going to join like this, so it needs to go like this. So I know this goes this way. For whatever reason in my head, I couldn't make myself decide what goes up. So I got this tail block for my next guitar build, and this is exactly how it goes, like this in the guitar. So looking at this, I can tell this is the quarter sawn side because the grain's going this way, and this would be the flat sawn side. So that tells me that the flat sawn side needs to go up, which is this side. So this is how it goes. So if I'm going to cut these blocks out, imagine this is a mandolin block, like a really huge mandolin. It needs to come out of this block like that. So from this square, so the head block will come from up here somewhere. So let me go ahead and get these blocks cut out, and I'll come back to you. Now, it's been a little while. I've got the tail block looking pretty good. It matches up. I'm trying to plan for 2 millimeter thick sides, so it doesn't perfectly follow the curve. It's a little bit tighter of a curve, so I think that's going to be okay. But the head block, I think I'm going to have to recut it because if I let's see if I give myself 2 millimeters at the top for the sides, well, that leaves 3 millimeters on that side and 3 on that. So the sides are going to be 2 millimeters thick. So if I've got a 3 millimeter gap, I'm just afraid whenever I push this up here, it's not going to join all the way up against it because there's a millimeter of extra space there. Now this one was drawn based on the plans, which kind of matches up the plans, you know, pretty good. But I must have some small variation in this whenever I oscillate spindle sand it. I must have opened it up a little bit more than what's here. So I need to draw onto the mahogany stock a new head block just using this. So let me go ahead and get another one cut, and I'll catch back up with you. It's been a couple of days, but I spent the time after that last clip making a new block. This was the old one. I just made one that goes straight across instead of having to try to make one with this curve like the plans call for. So that'll go there. And if it's much better, I've got about 2 millimeters of space all around it for the sides. So now that I've got the blocks made, here's the one for the bottom. The next thing I got to do, and I'm kind of nervous about this, is to work on the sides. I got to get those thickness and bent. So let me go ahead and take care of that. You know, these sides, I already checked them a little bit.
Whoa!
They're actually pretty musical. They got a really good tone. All right, well, the timing is what it is. My daughter's practicing the piano, so you're gonna have to hear some piano playing in the background. So here we are right here. I've got the mold here, so I'm gonna be, you know, bending, checking, doing this whole dance back and forth. Got some water here. Now it's a good thing that I just stopped and thought for a second, because I just realized I don't have these cut to width. So I need to stop here and go cut them to width real quick, and I'll be right back. Just want to make a note about something that I don't know if it's a mistake or not. You know, in a guitar build, you joint the sides first, the edges, and then you make sure they're, you know, straight, and then you cut them to width. I didn't joint the edges. Didn't say anything about that in the course, but just looking at these coming together, these are pretty bowed. Like there's a gap in between them. If I push them together, you can see that gap. If I turn them around, the side that I cut comes together better, although they are bowed at the top. So I'm not sure if that's going to cause any problems. I guess I'll find out. I'm going to continue on as if it's okay and just see if I run into any issues. I'll have to see what they do later on in the build. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and continue on like this. Just wanted to point that out in case I have to bail on this. You know why. They're a lot thinner. They're pretty skinny. I had to verify with the plans just to make sure I was cutting them the right width, because it seemed like way skinnier. I'm trying to keep track of which side's which. So I'm going to start with this one and bend this way. Okay? Let me weigh this down and see how it works out. Fingers crossed. I naturally would want to stand like this, I think. I think I'm going to. Let me move the camera around. I'll feel more comfortable if I'm on the other side, holding the block with my left hand. I'm going to do this long curve now, which has just got to be one long curve. Oh yeah, getting there. See it? Getting there. Keep on moving. Keep on working on this and I'll come back to you. I can't believe it, but I got the side bent. I'll be cutting this off right here, of course, but just to get it in there. Those sides bend up there pretty good. It's just this right there. which I think I might try to work on a little bit more. That's better. So, let me grab my block. I'm going to clamp it out and let it dry. Looks like it's fitting pretty good. Man, I can't believe it. It's exciting. Exciting stuff, man. I'm so pleased I didn't crack it. Man, I'm so excited I didn't crack it. Put this in there. Okay, I got that clamped. And what I might do, I might go ahead and put this in there too. All right. All right. So cool. So cool. I can't believe they didn't break. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very excited right now. Got the first side bent. I can't believe it didn't break it. You know, my first guitar build, I had flame maple binding. And if you saw that, you know how frustrated I got. I couldn't get it to bend without breaking. I was trying to hand bend the binding, the flame maple binding, and I broke 4 binding pieces back to back. That's what made me buy that expensive LMI side bender, because that's how I ended up bending the binding. I had to buy all new binding and bend it. But so I was really nervous after that experience using flame maple on this mandolin, okay? I just knew it was going to crack. I'm going to go ahead and work on the second side off camera, and I'll come back to you when I get them both bent, and we'll take a look at it, okay? All right, it's been a couple of days, and you can see I've got both sides bent. So what I did off camera was bent the other side and then cut them to fit so that they both fit inside the mold. So now it's time to glue it up, and I'm not too nervous about this. I mean, glue ups can be a little hectic, but I'm ready to go. I think I've got my glue, I've got some wax paper, because I do have kind of a little gap at the top here, but the one at the top apparently doesn't matter as much because you're going to be cutting that out for a joint. But I don't want glue coming out and getting on the mold. So let me go ahead and get started. Hope it turns out okay. That's better. I think that's it. Other than cutting myself with that dang spring clamp. A pretty good slice on my thumb there. I'm done with the glue up. I'm just going to let this dry for quite some time. All right, it's been about 8 hours, and I think it's long enough. I'm excited to get it out of the mold and take a look at it. So let's do it right now. First thing I'm going to do is get this death clamp off of here. This thing sliced me open so much. I've got like an inch long slice of my thumb here from where this thing snapped and caught me right there. Should I make the mold to where you can open it up? Maybe. I'm having a little bit of trouble. There we go. There we go. All right. Decided to change the camera angle up so you can see. This is pretty cool, right? Maybe once I sand that joint, it'll look a little better. Like I told you, I had a little gap here, but that'll be getting cut out for the joint. I can't tell if the head blocks are crooked. I don't know. It's my first one, okay? I'll get better after this. I'm really excited about this. I can't believe I'm this far. And next would be the kerfing, I think. But I don't have the kerfings, okay? This is the stopping point for me. I only bought the sides, and I already had these blocks, as I mentioned earlier. So this is all I can do at this point for this video. I got to get some more supplies, some kerfing and stuff like that, and I'll be ready to go with that. So anyway, I'm glad you tuned in. Thanks for watching. I'm really excited to get on with this project and make a mandolin. I'm really excited, okay? Thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.